Howdy, how the heck are you? I am Tommy the Beer Whisperer. Of course, that's who I am. Who else would I be? Excuse me. Uh, and you're drinking with the Beer Whisperer. Hey, look what I got. It's a Big Eddy Imperial IPA, 9%, 80 IBUs from Leinenkugel. It's their Imperial series. It says 5 distinctive hops are added at every stage of the brewing process for our take on an Imperial IPA. Okay, now I have had this before. In fact, I have done a few videos for it before, to be honest with you. So why do one again? Well, I haven't done one in this format. Oh, well, it does have a nice aroma. And there's a reason why I'm drinking this. Nice aroma, little pine. Ooh, big grapefruit right at the end. Oh man, it's like biting into a big grapefruit. Mm. Okay, the reason why, the reason. Get to it, get to it, get to it, get to it. Yeah, but my local beer store was advertising this. They posted it on Facebook that they were blowing these babies out for $4 a 4 pack. Yeah, you heard that right. It was $3.99 a 4 pack. And the truth is, I was down to my last $4, so I went and got one. Um, there you go. That's why I'm drinking this bad boy. If I had the money, I'd have loaded my car up with it. You know what I'm saying? Holy cow! It went at full price around here from anywhere between as low as 10.13 to as high as 10.99. And quite frankly, I did buy it at that price once. But there's others at that price that I preferred myself. Now this is good, is top notch, but for me, there's a couple others I liked. For me, I had a little preference for like a Mother's Troublemaker or Sierra Nevada Optimum, for instance. This one's good though. I haven't had it for a while. This was back in June when I did the videos for them. Oh wow, that is so good. But $4, I mean, that's a beer, right? For a 9% 80 IBU Imperial IPA, of course. Again, you know me, I'm all about the value. There's a lot of things I like to buy, a lot of things I want to buy, but I buy what I can afford. A lot of craft beers are getting up and up and up in prices, getting tough for folks to keep up. It's that elite class that want to keep buying those expensive beers, and that's great. But there's a lot of working class folks that are struggling. So when you can find a bargain like this, you take advantage of it. Had I not been at the end of the week, I would have loaded up. You know, uh, seriously, I mean, I really was down to my last $4, which is why I bought it. But hey, man, I didn't realize until recently that Leinenkugel was actually part of that Miller Coors stable. I didn't realize that until recently doing some research because they had their own webpage. I just assumed they were still an independent brewery, but they're not. They are part. I don't know if they run as a separate entity. That I'm not sure, but I know they're included in that Miller Coors stable. So it's I don't know what would you call a beer like this. That that micro macro, the macro craft. I don't know. There's a lot of them around. A lot of them that you don't know or have been swallowed up by some of the big guys. They're kind of running as independents, but they've actually been owned by the big guys for a while. Henry Weinhardt's, for instance, had just made a resurgence, and in doing some research, I found out. Ta-da. They're part of that Miller Coors stable as well. Um, I guess Budweiser. I haven't had a chance to buy it yet. I just saw it in my one beer store that they have their craft pack. Had three different styles. I'm curious. I don't want to buy it, but then I want to buy it at the same time because I mean, well, I want to know what it tastes like. So I figure at some point when I do have the money, I'm going to probably end up buying a 12 pack just to see what they all taste like. You know, I like to support the smaller breweries when possible for sure, but curiosity will get the better of me, and I'm going to have to know if they're any good or not. It is a little scary though, because you think at some point a lot of these small breweries are going to get swallowed up. They're going to get so it's like banks. Banks get so big and then they get swallowed up by bigger banks. If you're small enough, you get left alone. But once you get so big, they want to tend to swallow you up. And so you kind of worry that there are so many small breweries right now. Um, just I mean I don't know about your area, but around here, as often as we've had to go to St. Louis, I've seen just tons and tons and tons of local, almost neighborhood style breweries out there. Uh, and you wonder, yeah, at some point, are they all gonna make it as a little neighborhood niche, or are they all gonna keep growing and growing until they eventually get swallowed up by some of the big guys? Our biggest breweries, Anheuser-Busch, the biggest brewery was swallowed up by a Dutch group. So, I mean, all of our American breweries. So, I love to see these small breweries thriving and doing well. As long as this craft craze continues. I don't know if it will or not. I think I said this before. There are the guys like me that have been drinking for 30 plus years. Yeah. I see videos of videos and read blogs of some young drinkers, guys in their mid 20s, talking about what they know about beer. And I've been drinking beer longer than these guys have been alive. Sometimes you scratch your head listening to some of the arrogance going on. Come on, kid, really? But then again, I thought the same way when I was a kid. You think you know more than everybody else until you get a little knowledge behind you, then you realize, okay. So I mean, it's really hard to look at these kids and try to educate them because they're not in a position where they're going to listen to you. Because right now they're convinced they're right. You've got to get some age on you to realize, maybe you don't know it all. But I'm glad there is this resurgence in craft beer. I mean, it got big in the late '80s, early '90s, um, probably about the mid '90s, and it kind of faded a little bit, and then kind of back up. And right now, there's tons of breweries popping up. Like I said, in St. Louis alone, there's just a bunch. What I could name off the top of my head, Four Hands. Uh, I just went blank. Urban Chestnut are the two big ones. Four Hands, Urban Chestnut, but there's Civil Life, Ferguson, Six Row. I just forgot one. Square One. There's just a lot of little places around there, um, and they're all coming at craft beer from different angles. Civil Life, for instance, I've talked about before, is coming at it from a session angle. Um, Urban Chestnut, for instance, is coming at it from a traditional and a new world style. So I mean, they've got their own thing. Four Hands does a lot of innovative things. They're looking to kind of push the envelope with their brews. Uh, Six Rows got some interesting brews as well. Oh, excuse me. Whew, whew, whew. Oh, excuse me. But and around here, well, I don't have that quite a selection, but this is a much smaller town. But I've got a great brewery in Mothers, and then we've got a brew pub, Springfield Brewing Company. Mothers started with their sessions, but then they're kind of pushing the envelope too a little bit with some of their big ones. Troublemaker is a top notch Imperial IPA. Mm. Springfield Brewing Company is decent. Yeah, again, we're talking more session line. Brew pubs tend to be more session. for the most part. Well, there are some exceptions. Exceptions. There are some exceptions. Uh, uh, but they have solid brews. Their Pilsner, for instance, was very light, but incredibly refreshing and a good version of the style. Um, I haven't had a chance to find the brewery yet, but out in Bucyrus or Piney River, that's knocking out some very fine brews too. So all over, not far out of the St. Louis area is Augusta Brewery, and they're doing some fine brews. So all over, there's just a lot of breweries here in Missouri, and it's probably in most states now that a lot of them have your own little niche brewery. So it's very nice. You see how I do that? That's why I say I don't really do beer reviews. I kind of do these segments about the beer because I don't sit and talk about the beer for 10, 20 minutes. Uh, I tell you a little bit about the beer, and then I kind of the subjects kind of meander as they go. It's kind of how I do my thing. You know, I figure there's 100 brewer reviewers giving you 50 adjectives for grapefruit and pine, and you're going to get that from them if you want to know particulars. I'm more about talking about the beer specifically and other topics of being as far as how it makes me feel, what I like about it. This is a likable, enjoyable Imperial IPA. And again, at full retail price, well, I bought it once, but then for me, there was others I preferred more. But it's certainly not bad. But I tell you, at $4, there's something. When somebody gives you something for free, it always tastes so better. If you happen to be out and for some reason the guy says, "This is on me," oh, that meal tastes great because now I don't have to chuck $50 for it. Well, it's kind of the same way about the beer. Now I know I'm only paying $1 for this beer I just drank. It somehow tasted better than when I paid, $10 for the four pack or 10 and change, about 260 a beer. $1 a beer, this thing tastes freaking beautiful, I'll tell you what. And we just killed her. So, Big Eddy, Big Eddy Imperial IPA from Leinenkugel. Hey, give her a shot if you happen to find her.